spin a little wool today. I don't have anything really planned for this episode except a little spinning on the great wheel and maybe talking a bit about what I have coming up. I'm going to a knitting retreat this weekend. I'll probably be spinning quite a bit there, but I am taking a cowl to work on and maybe finishing up a hat that I've been doing as well, both with wool that we've sheared from our own sheep, so that'll be pretty exciting to get to show that to people and have some fun with that. I have got a 3/4 inch spindle pulley on here right now, so that gives me a 23:1 ratio with a 17-inch diameter wheel. That's pretty nice, except when I was making the 3/4 inch spindle pulley, I screwed it up. I drilled the hole off center. That's not a big deal for me because I know how to operate within the parameters of messed up hardware, and it's kind of important for me to use janky equipment from time to time anyways, because I do help people troubleshoot wheels that they have built, and so it's nice for me to know when a certain technique or problem comes from a building deficiency. And so I left this spindle tip on here. This isn't probably what I will be taking with me to the retreat. I'll probably switch back to my good spindle, and that's a 1-inch spindle pulley. So the ratio is only 17:1 with the 1-inch, where it's 23:1 with the 3/4 inch. So there is definitely a difference there, but until I can get a better 3/4 inch made, I probably won't be taking that with me to places. We will see. I do like using it though, other than the fact it's a little noisy. It gets along pretty good. It just kind of wobbles a bit, which is to be expected. Adds a lot of twist fast, as you would think. And it's possible it'll be noisy even when I get one made well. I'll have to see about that, because of course the noise is coming from the friction from the spindle rotating so quickly. Hopefully, if I get it made properly, I won't have that issue. It'll actually be smooth and silent, but I couldn't say that until I get it done. It's possible there's just a threshold of which, if your spindle is moving so fast, it is going to be noisy without some kind of sound dampeners or something on it. Well, and that's another thing. I use a metal washer in front of the spindle pulley and a large nut behind the spindle pulley, and both of those can make noise as they're running around and around and beating back and forth on the upper receiver or the stem of the wheel. Where if I move to like a nylon nut, it'd be a lot quieter, but quiet isn't something I'm really concerned with or looking for. But that's always an option for people. Just changing the materials a bit will change some of the performances that they don't like in this case, maybe just some unwanted clatter from the upper receiver. I did take this out for the first time today at work. out to like the common area to spin while I was on my break, and it felt a little bit weird lugging this big thing out. I don't really have a problem taking my dodeck or my porter wheel out because it just kind of hangs to my side as I walk out, but this I kind of have to hold under my arm and carry it, and it was a bit, I don't know. I have gotten a dog brush recently because I was going to start flick carding. I'm making quite a few of these wheels for people I know that are interested in getting into spinning, and I've been making the wheels and handing them out, but I haven't, like, that doesn't get people to where they've got stuff to use, so either they have to go online and start buying roving or bats or something like that, which I'd rather them not do. You know, I'd rather them go to a local farm, buy wool off of a person, and buy wool off of a sheep, but from a person at the farm, and then take it home and be able to wash it and spin it themselves. The most approachable way to do this is just by, you know, showing them with an inexpensive dog brush how to prep their fiber in advance, and then go ahead and spin it through that preparation, flick cart preparation. I'm not as good at it yet as I am with these cards. Now, maybe that's to be expected. I mean, maybe cards are quite a bit more capable. That's what I would assume. But I would think that if I worked harder at it, maybe I could get to where I had a decent command of the flick carder. I just, at this point, it really slows me down to try to flick card them to a preparation that I really like to then spin from, because this wheel really makes a lot of yarn quick if you're not being bogged down with your fiber prep in advance. And it's possible I just don't have the nicest dog brush. What I'm wanting is something with short teeth. A slicker brush is what they call it, the one with the bent teeth, just like a card or a hand card. But I want something with short, sturdy teeth, and the ones I found have kind of, you know, pliable teeth. They're not really that sturdy. So I don't know if dog brushes don't come with sturdy teeth, or if I just haven't found a company that makes the sturdy version yet. I'm gonna keep looking around. I've looked at pet stores and department stores. I need to try a few more of the farm supplies and things of that nature, but I'm going to have to do a comparison. The department stores had the really inexpensive ones that weren't any worse than the pet store ones, but I'm hoping that the farm supply, even if it's going to cost a little more, is going to have the really sturdy teeth, and well, I'd like a wooden handle. Not all of them have wooden handles. Dun, 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 dun. Because with the cards, it just goes so quick prepping something, and I could be going quicker if speed was something I was worried about with the prep. I wouldn't want to go quicker when I'm spinning, because I'm clipping along at a good rate with that, and I'm getting good results as far as the consistency and how thick or thin I like it. But as far as the carding goes, if I was really worried about getting the fiber prepped quick so I could get back to spinning, I could probably speed this bit up a bit with practice, but I don't work on it that much, so it ends up not ever helping me concentrate on what I want to do, which is draft. Speaking of which, I don't know if you're like me, but I spin up a whole lot of quills of fiber all the time, and I've got a bunch of them waiting to be plied. And I don't mind plying, but I do like spinning, and it seems like I have a lot waiting. So unless you're spinning the same fiber all the time, which I do for the most part, you know, I'm going card by card and spinning a few pounds off of just like a single sheep. So you can imagine that it takes me a while to make it through a sack of wool. But while I'm doing that, I'll kind of throw all of these quills together so that at some point when I get a weekend that I think, hey, all I'm going to do this weekend is ply a whole bunch of quills I've got made up, you know, I don't have to figure out which ones go with which, because they all came from the same fleece, they were all spun in the same manner, and usually they're not being spun for any specific project, so that works well for me. So I was bad-mouthing this 3/4 inch spindle pulley, but actually it's not giving me any problems other than the racket it's creating. And I am kind of liking it. I'm really tempted to take it with me this weekend, but I think I would regret it if I did. Sometimes this drafts so well and it comes off so easy. I'm afraid that I'm making a single that's too thin to like pull off of the quill on the Lazy Kate. Like, I'm just making it too dainty and stuff, and then when I go to pull it off the Lazy Kate to ply it, it's just going to snap over and over again because it's thin. I don't usually have problems, but I'm always convinced that this time is going to be the time that I didn't put enough twist in, or I drafted it too thin and it's just going to come apart. I'm kind of excited that it's warming up now and I'll be able to get outside and shoot some more of this, because I really enjoy the episodes where I get to go somewhere and just set up out on a sidewalk and do the same thing I'm doing here, but with a little more scenic view. There's quite a few other places that I know I can go here in town or the surrounding areas that I think you guys would like to see, and I'm looking forward to getting a chance to do that. The way it is now, though, because of the lighting situation until just this weekend, because it was daylight savings time this weekend, but before then, it was too dark when I got home at night for me to go anywhere. Hopefully now that we've made the switch, I'll actually be able to plan on certain days to run out, get something shot pretty quickly while it's still light, and then get back to it. We lost one of our goats this week. Got his head stuck in the feeder and couldn't get free for a long time because he kind of pushed it back into a corner of the barn. And it had pinned him in a way that wasn't hurting him. It hadn't injured him, but it made it difficult for him to get down and stuff. And after he wore himself out, I think he had an issue with constricted breathing. So it was sad to lose him, but there are worse ways for animals to go, and I'm glad that he didn't suffer, wasn't attacked, or anything of that nature, but we will miss him. We're to the point now, though, that that herd, we had 4 animals in, and now we're down to 3 because we have different herds. And the problem with that is goats do not act the same. Goats and sheep do not act the same in smaller numbers. They're a little less organized, and they don't operate with the herd mentality, and the herd mentality is good for those kind of animals. When a predator comes up, they're able to move as one, and they're able to stand together, where when you get them below 4 animals, then they don't. They kind of will scatter, and a predator will be able to actually like corner one while the others cower and stuff. So you want to keep 4 to 5 animals at least in a small herd, and because our herd is under 4 animals now, I'm not really sure how we're going to approach that, but we will see about combining them with another herd or what we can do. When it comes feeding time, they also do better when there's not 3 of them. When there's 3 of them, there will be one that's dominant, and so he or she will get the food first, and then there will be one that's not dominant but not the runt of the pack, and then there will be one that eats last or whatnot. Usually it's like the second toughest animal that gets kept away from the food by the dominant one, and by the other one that doesn't want to say anything because they want to eat. And that's the problem with 3, where if you have 4, you usually have a 4th goat that will not stand, or sheep that will not stand by and watch you keep this goat from eating time after time after time. It really balances out where one goat or one sheep isn't picked on or kept away from food. When you get it down to 3, the dominant one almost always picks one goat to keep away from the food, and that's bad because the 3rd goat in the mix doesn't want to stir it up because they don't want to be the one kept out of the food. And it can switch that way. If they step in, then the dominant one can keep them from eating and let the other one eat. And so they never want to do that. So what you end up with a lot of times is 2 animals picking on a 3rd. And that can't happen in 4, and that doesn't happen in 5. It doesn't happen in anything over 4, because there's always other animals that don't like to see injustice and will step in with time. But when there's 3, it's more of a survival instinct, and that doesn't happen. Well, I mean, people are pretty familiar with the 3rd wheel phenomena. So this is the last little card of wool I'm doing tonight. Hopefully next week's podcast will be on time, but with being gone over the weekend and stuff, I just don't know how my schedule will be once I return home. So I am sure I will get something out. I just do not know if it will be at the same date and time it usually is, and I am not sure how long it will be either. So time will tell. So when we started this episode tonight, not only did we have an empty quill that we were carding, we hadn't even carded anything. So this is all came on just in the short time we've been spinning, which should be about 18 minutes now. And that's a good amount of wool for less than 20 minutes time. And I have to mix that with some other stuff and maybe take the yarn for the free yarn table or something. Alright, well, I hope the weather's good for you and you're getting to do lots of this, or knitting, crocheting, whatever it is you're up to. And if you've got animals, maybe you can get out there and get those fences mended and take care of some of your springtime chores.